Hey class, so this lesson 1.1 is all about lab safety. So essentially we're going to read through our safety contract, the important things for us that pertain to physics, because it's kind of an all-encompassing science lab safety. So there's some biology, there's some chemistry things, but really we just need to focus on the physics things. So let's go ahead and read through this, and then after this you will want to go and complete the work associated with this video. So let's go ahead and scroll down here. General rules. First off, number 1, conduct yourself in a responsible manner at all times in the lab. Be respectful. Be a good teammate. Be a good lab partner while we're in the lab setting. Follow all written and verbal instructions. If you don't understand a direction or part of a procedure, ask the instructor before proceeding. If you don't know, ask me a question. It's okay. Sometimes we're not listening, and that's okay. 3, never work alone. No student may work in the lab without an instructor present. If for some reason I have to step out of the room, we will pause the lab. I need to be present while the labs are going on. 4, when first entering a science room, do not touch any equipment, chemicals, or other materials in the lab area until you're instructed to do so. No touchy. There's going to be lab stuff out on our lab stations. Don't mess with it until I give you instruction to do so. Do not eat, drink, or chew gum in the lab. Do not use lab glassware as containers. If we have containers out, it's for lab stuff that's gross. Do not put anything in there to drink. Also, during the lab settings at our stations, we will not be eating at your desk. That is okay because our desks are away from our lab stations. Number 6, perform only those experiments authorized by the instructor. Never do anything in the laboratory that is not called for in the lab procedure or by your instructor. Careful to follow all instructions, both written and oral. Unauthorized experiments are prohibited. Don't do what we don't ask. It's pretty simple. Just follow instructions. 7, be prepared to work in the laboratory. Read all procedures thoroughly. Read the instructions. I cannot tell you how many times a student will ask me, hey, what do we do? And I'll say, did you read the instructions? And they'll say, no. And I'll be like, start there. It's pretty simple. Number 8, never fool around a lab. Horseplay, practical jokes, and pranks are dangerous. Don't play jokes on each other. It's not okay to do that in the lab setting because sometimes we have heavy objects. We have hot objects. We are messing with stuff and we don't want anyone to get hurt. Number 9, observe good housekeeping practices. Make sure everything is clean. Make sure that it is ready for the next group. Make sure we leave it better than we found it. Number 10, keep aisles clear. Push chairs under desks when not in use. Do not just leave everything willy-nilly. I gotta be able to walk around the room. Other people gotta be able to walk around the room. So make sure we push our chairs in, put our backpacks underneath the desk. Number 11, know the locations and operating procedures where appropriate for all safety equipment. So we know in this room, first off, the fire blanket is located by the front door if something happens there. The chemical shower is behind my desk, and we also have the eye wash station on the side of the front table. So no matter what happens, first off, let me know. I can at least point you in the direction or lead you there, okay? We shouldn't be dealing with any fire or any harsh chemicals, so we should be safe there, but it's good to know where those things are. Number 12, always work in a well-ventilated area. Use fume hoods. We don't really have to worry about that because we're not dealing with fumes in any way. Be alert and cautious at all time. Notify the instructor immediately of any unsafe conditions you observe. Let me know. See something, say something. We're not dealing with chemicals, so we can skip number 14. Number 15, labels and equipment instructions must be read carefully. Again, just another way telling you, make sure to read the instructions before we get going. Number 16, keep your hands away from your face, eyes, mouth, and body while using chemicals. Again, we're not using chemicals, but it's still good to know, we might have glass out. Make sure you're not touching your face all the time. Number 17, experiments must be monitored at all times. You must be present when the lab is going on. So you can't leave a tumble buggy going while you're not, because it's going to run off the table and break. You can't throw a bowling ball down the football field and then hope that it's just going to end up somewhere. Someone's got to keep eyes on the experiment. Number 18, students are never prohibited in the science storeroom or prep areas. So the area behind my desk, that is an area just for me. And behind the lab table, just for me unless you were invited back. It's just safety because there's a lot of stuff that you guys aren't sure what it is. If there's a fire drill, again, we're not dealing with chemicals, so if there's a fire drill, we need to know what to do. We pause, we turn off anything that's on, and we exit out the door for our normal fire drill. Number 20, we don't have living organisms, so we're safe. If you want to deal with living organisms, you got to go talk to Mr. Brandt downstairs. Number 21, when using knives and other sharp instruments, always carry with tips pointed down and away. Always cut away from your body. Never try to catch falling sharp instruments. Grasp sharp instruments. Instructions only by the handle. Scissors, Don't run with them. Don't point them at people. It's not actually funny, especially to me, who is responsible for all of you. Number 22, if you have a medical condition, check with your physician prior to working in a lab. If we have something that would, if we're going to be outside running and you have asthma and you can't sprint, that's okay. We can step away from the lab. There's no food allergies we're going to be dealing with, so really just let me know and we can figure out what we're going to do next. All right, next section, clothing. Anytime chemical, heat, or glassware are used, students are to wear laboratory goggles. So we have glass out, we will break out the safety glasses. That doesn't happen very often in here, but it's still good to know. Contact lenses may be worn, provided eye protection is needed, and non-ventilated safety goggles if needed. The instructor should know which students are wearing contact lenses in an event of eye exposure that is marked at the end. I wear contacts. It's good to know because sometimes chemicals can get underneath our contact lenses. 25, dress properly for lab activities. Long hair, dangling jewelry, loose or baggy clothing are hazardous. Long hair must be tied back, dangling jewelry and loose or baggy clothing must be secure. Shoes completely covering the foot, no sandals allowed in labs. I will let you know when we have lab days, but you have to come dressed for it. Everyone long hair, tied back into a ponytail or a bun, and any dangling jewelry, we just take it off, put it in our backpack. 26, lab aprons have been provided for your use and should be worn during lab. If you want a lab coat, I have lab coats. It's how much of a scientist do you want to be there. Accidents and injuries. Report any accident, spill, breakage, etc., or injury to the instructor immediately, no matter how trivial it appears. If you bump and get a bruise on your hip, let me know. If you get a paper cut, let me know. It just allows me to be aware. So if you go home and a parent asks, hey, so-and-so came home with a big old cut on their finger, what happened? If you don't tell me, I don't know. So please, let me know if that happens. If you or your lab partner are hurt, immediately yell out code 1 to the instructor. Code 1 is an emergency. So if something bad is happening, you need immediate medical attention, code 1 lets me know that. 29, we don't have chemicals in this room. And 30, we do not have mercury thermometers, so we do not need to worry about those. 31, all chemicals in the lab again, all of these, so 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. We don't have to worry about, we're not handling chemicals in here. We will never have chemicals, that is for chemistry class. Handling glassware and equipment. Carrying glass tubing, especially long pieces in a vertical position to minimize the likelihood of breaks. So we always hold them up. We don't hold them sideways, they're gonna fall easier that way. Never handle broken glass with your bare hands. Use a brush and dustpan to clean up. I have those things, so come and get me. I will clean up the glass. We have an area where we put that broken glass in the back corner of our room. Inserting rubber stoppers can be dangerous. Always lubricate your glassware before attempting to insert a stopper. If we get to some future units, we might get into that, but we will cover it again when we get there. Just make sure we're being careful with glass. We don't need to worry about wash bottles, so 43 we don't need. 44, when removing an electrical plug from its socket, grasp the plug, not the cord. Hands must be completely dry before touching an electrical switch, plug, or outlet. 1, water and electricity do not mix. 2, make sure we're not yanking cords because it can ruin the cord. 45, examine glassware before each use. Never use chipped or cracked glassware. Never use dirty glassware. Check it before you use it. Give it a good look down. I'm going to assume that you are checking it. 46, report damaged electrical equipment immediately. Look for things such as frayed cords, exposed wires, loose connections. Do not use damaged electrical equipment. We're going to do 47, 48, and then I'm going to say something here. 47, if you don't understand how to use a piece of equipment, ask the instructor for help. 48, do not immerse hot glassware in cold water. It may shatter. All of these things with glass and handling of equipment. I want to be very clear with you. If you break something, you are not in trouble. Accidents happen. Something breaks every year, and a student may or may not think that they're responsible for it financially. If it was not an intentional act of destruction, you are not responsible for it. So unless I watch you take a glass beaker and smash it on the ground, you are fine. We have a science budget for these things. There's a reason that there is a student fee coming into science classes. It is to replace equipment. So please do not tell me because you think you're in trouble. You're not. Just come let me know if something's broken. We won't be heating anything in here. If we do, we will come back and review this prior to. You're welcome to read through the heating. Basically says don't touch open flames, Don't touch hot equipment, and let things cool down naturally, because if you don't, they may shatter. Now, there are 3 questions for you on your safety contract. Please answer those and sign this with you, and then have your parent or guardian sign it at the bottom. When you do that, it lets me know that you are ready for labs. I need lab safety contracts before we can do actual labs. So these are all handed out to you. If you need one, come and get it from me. You can also print it out. It is linked in underneath this video will be to the lab safety contracts. You could also print it off yourself, but I have plenty for everyone. If you have questions, let me know. Have an awesome rest of your day, guys.